time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone. Bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Welcome back, Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We got co-host Bryant Falconer in the studio. How you doing today, Bryant?
Hey, man, I'm doing good,
Hey, Matt, so before we get to even what we're smoking,
Okay.
You've been traveling.
Yes, sir.
And you went to some shops while you were in Dallas.
Yes, sir.
So which shops did you go to?
The first one I went to was the Greenville Avenue Tobacco Company.
Greenville?
Yes, sir.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a nice little small shop, man. I drove by, I saw it. I said, let me stop in here because I needed to smoke a stick. I'd been on the road all day coming from Copper's Cove to Dallas, and I was like, I need a stick. So I walk in, nice little small shop, was met by the tobacconist while he was in there, and we had a little short conversation. He said he was actually working that night because he came up to work just to see something and got voluntold. Yeah.
Like, hey, you're working.
You're working today.
Nice.
So, and I went in and I looked in the humidor, and it was more of a traditional humidor. They didn't have a lot of boutiques. It was just a small selection of boutiques, but I was looking for one specific stick at that time, which was the a McAuliffe, and I couldn't find one. So I just went ahead and smoked a Camacho.
Nice. It's always fun for me when I get to go to a new shop.
Yeah, and it was because it was a different atmosphere. It was a different environment, different layout. And I really liked it because he was watching the Los Angeles Raiders. And I was able to sit down there with him and his two dogs.
Oh, nice.
And we had just a little quick conversation. He said, could he ask why I was here? I said, yeah, well, I'm here for my fraternity. And I said, I'm a co-host on the Cigar Talk. And he said, Cigar Talk? I've heard of that. I was like, yeah, I'm the co-host. Rob is the host. He said, I've heard of that. I was like, thank you.
Cool,
Thank
man.
you.
That's
Somebody's heard of us.
Yeah, that you didn't know.
Yes, that I really didn't know. And that put me back into that mindset. Okay, somebody know me. I don't know.
Now I got to behave myself.
I got to act like I got some sense now.
Right.
But it was nice, man. I sat there, like I said, he was getting ready to close, but we sat there for about an hour, man.
Oh,
I got that
nice.
smoke in, and then I said, I'm going to go and get out of here so you can close. He said, no, I'm going to get out because you said you were closing, and I just had some runs to make anyway. So it was a nice, visit. Yeah.
It wasn't like you were at your home shop.
Oh, no.
Because when you're at your home shop and they say we're closing,
you sit there. You look at them like, really, Jay?
Let me know when I got to go home.
Yeah, when you're done.
Right. So, and that's one of the great things about the Leaf is we go up there and they close usually at 9 o'clock on the weeknights, and then they close at 11 on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yes,
and when it's 11, we all know it's 11, and then we just wait to get kicked out.
Yes.
And it's usually, he's not like chomping at the bit to kick us out.
No.
And so it's always a nice environment at the Leaf. Mm-hmm. So what was the other shop that you went to?
I went to Blue Smoke Cigars in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
It's actually...
I haven't heard of either one of these.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a couple of good places we should go.
And all I did was I hit in Google cigar shops near me.
Oh, nice.
And it popped up Blue Smoke Cigars, and I was like, hey, man, that ain't this far.
I didn't know that you knew how to use Google.
Bruh, I know how to use Google. I use Android.
Here's the thing. And here's the reason.
No.
Because whenever I was at the the Cigar and Spirits Magazine festival, you sent me a text that said, what's the address?
Yes, because I didn't know which one. And because we didn't know about Panther Island. And then when you said Panther, I said, oh, yeah, Panther Island. And I said, put that in the the map.
Because I'm like, I'm sitting there at the event going, where the hell is he? And then two, I'm thinking, he did not ask me for the address.
I'm driving. And so and when you said Panther, I said, oh, yeah, Panther Island. Put that in the maps. He said, okay. He put that in there. And then we came. And then the problem was finding the entrance to the place. Because I
had no problem. I had none.
Anyway, we got there before it started. So that's
cool.
all about. Never late.
Great event too.
Yes, sir. But Blue Cigar was it was more akin to the Leaf, a lot more room,
Yeah.
My thing that got me was they had 2 humidors in there. And the first one was more traditional with some boutiques. And then after we went back to the members only, because he asked me, he said, you know, you want to come back here and sit down? I was like, oh, yeah. So me and one of my frat brothers, we went back and sat. And we walked past this room, and I was like, what is this? And it was a second humidor. And then I looked and I was like, man, that's all the boutiques in here. I was like,
Oh,
wow.
nice. Yeah, because that's where you want to be.
Yeah, they're all by themselves.
Yeah.
And sat there and had a nice time.
Because it's funny when you go to a shop that doesn't carry the boutiques, you feel so limited.
Yeah, and then you get, I didn't get frustrated. I got disappointed at the first one. I was like, oh, for real? And I was like, when I saw the Monte Cristos, I could hear your voice. Here he goes to the Monte Cristo.
Right. So let's before we get started, let's go ahead and talk about what we're drinking.
Oh, most definitely.
We are drinking a gift from Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Ed is the professor,
Yes, sir.
and he's a non-smoker. At least that's what his wife thinks. And no, honestly, that's what Ed thinks his wife thinks.
Yeah.
Because if you're smoking cigars, whoever you walk within 20 feet.
No. They know.
So what is that bottle up there? That's a 1776.
It says James
Peppers.
Yeah, James Pepper's 1776
Yeah.
straight.
And
bourbon.
it's 100 proof.
Yes, sir.
And I tell you, I let it set in the glass for just a
Me
little
too.
bit to aerate, and it's good.
Yes, it is.
It's real good. It's
Yes,
100 proof, and I've never had this one before. So, you know, Ed's always coming up with new bourbons or
Yes, he
scotches that
is.
I haven't tried.
Yes, he
And
is.
in return, I always give him cigars. But he doesn't smoke them.
So he says. So his wife thinks,
Right.
as he says.
So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what we're smoking tonight.
Okay. I am smoking one of my top 3 for the week.
Oh, go ahead.
actually. And it's a Jamon by Placencia for JR Cigars.
Oh,
man.
very nice.
Dude. Oh, man. This is a surprise, man. This is a surprise. It has a boar's head on the label. And
I couldn't tell that's a boar's head.
Oh, yeah. I know what you said.
I could not. I was like, that could be a boar's head.
We are R-rated. We will not go any further than that. Leave it alone.
Anyway,
Leave it alone.
I thought it could be a boar's head if I was on LSD.
No.
It does not look anything like a
Bruh,
boar's
you
head.
and your mind. You and your mind, man. No, but it's I can't. How could you get that from that leaf,
I'm
man?
just saying.
That is wild. But Placencia makes it for JR Cigars, and
Oh,
it's exclusive
nice.
to them.
Okay.
So that's why it was so.
And that was a gift.
It was.
Somebody left it in your truck.
I have to be honest. Okay, we were riding around Dallas trying to find this venue. And it's one of my fraternity brothers, Rod Raw Smith. I got to give it up to you, brother. And he left it in my truck.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know he left it.
And when did you discover this?
When he got to Alabama,
Oh,
he called me, said, I left my sticks in your truck. I was like, really?
now, you just said sticks
Yeah.
with an S.
Oh, yeah, there were more than one.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
there were more than one.
And I'm sure you bagged them up and you're mailing them to him.
Huh? What?
He said Merry Christmas early.
That was part of the conversation. He said, go ahead, man, go ahead. I was like, really?
Hey,
Even
if
in
you
my
can't
mind.
keep up with your sticks better than that, come on.
No, he was rushing because he had a very early flight leaving
Oh,
out.
okay.
So it was like he was packing.
Now,
last
does he
night.
work in the same agency you work
No,
for?
he's in the military.
Oh, so
still.
you guys just hooked up.
Yeah, he's
Nice.
in the military. We were actually line brothers. We met online in Killeen down there at Fort Hood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a great brother, man. Real great brother, man. Around the same age. All he was arguing about, I got 4 more years, man. I got 4 more years.
Same age and he's in the military?
Yep.
I
He's
figured,
got 4 more years.
I figured he'd be in a home.
No, bruh, I am nowhere near that old. My knees tell me different, though.
Hey, so I'm going to tell you the cigar that I'm smoking is also in my top 3 of the week.
Okay.
And it is the McAuliffe Leyenda. Dude, it's a good stick.
Yes,
I'm
it
smoking
is.
it right now, and I'm probably about a third in. And so far, it's been a pleasure of leather, a little bit of spice, some earthy tones. And I was talking to Ed about the earthy tones. And, you know, that's a general common description
Yeah.
of a flavor profile. But here's the thing. You're talking about a very specific region,
yes.
a very specific type of soil.
And you can tell those tastes. You can tell the
Can you
difference in the
imagine what a cigar would taste like if it was grown out in West Texas?
dry.
Red dirt.
Dry.
So yeah, it's so far it's been just an absolute dream of a cigar, and it's a torpedo, and it's I don't know the ring gauge on this, but I'm going to go ahead and guess it's probably about a 56, maybe even a 58, and. I don't mind a big ring gauge when it's a torpedo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the part that you're actually smoking on is more like a 52. So I enjoy it if it's a torpedo.
That's what I loved about this one, because it was actually a 5-bar 3.7 by 60.
Oh, really?
But it's a Perfecto.
Yeah, the Perfectos, those are the exceptions to the rule on me smoking a 60 ring gauge. And like that box press I smoked last week.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
I'm tasting the roasted nuts now. I'm in the second half.
Yeah.
I'm tasting, I was like, I couldn't taste that earlier. I'm like, oh, there they are. Okay.
Well, speaking of nuts.
No.
No. No. That's
no.
not where I'm going
Stay
with this.
rated R.
So I was going to ask you, when you were a kid, did you put peanuts in bottled Coca-Cola?
No, I didn't.
Is that a Southern thing?
It was in East St. Louis, but it was a Southern guy, the first person I saw, and I was 24 years old when I saw him do that.
For the first time?
Yeah, and I looked, I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, when I grew up, that was a thing. Back, in the 70s.
Wow.
And
it blew my mind when he did it, but I did try it, and I was like, oh, okay, I see why.
Yeah.
I see why.
I haven't done it in years.
He did it in a Pepsi. And that's
really?
That's what we had it in. It was a Pepsi.
I got you.
Yeah, because Coke is universal in the South for every soda.
Oh, yeah.
Just give me a Coke.
That's how it is, yeah. And, we don't say pops or sodas or whatever. We just say, hey, what kind of Coke you want?
Yeah, I come from where you have to name what you want.
Right.
You just get what they grab.
Right. Whenever I lived in St. Louis, it was like, what do you want?
What do you want? I want a Coke. Well, I'm going to bring you a Coke.
Coke, right. And you're like, no, I want a Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Then say a Mountain Dew.
Right. So anyway, hey, well, let's give our sponsorship some time here. Let's talk about McAuliffe. This Leanda is a McAuliffe cigar, and to me, it's one of their top tiers. I mean, for me, you know how much I love the Medallia. Yep. This is a completely 180 from the Medallia.
You know what my favorite one is now?
I'm going to say the Sumatra.
You dead on.
I've seen you smoking that a lot
dead
lately.
On, man.
Yeah.
That is my love now, bro.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Well, you know what's funny is after you smoked one on the show last week, I went to the Leaf, and that's what I smoked.
Oh.
Great stick.
Hey.
Great stick.
As you say, I'm growing up.
You are growing up, man. I'm impressed.
I'm still going to smoke Monte Cristos.
Hey, you know what? Everybody has their vices. That's a dirty one that I wouldn't want to tell anyone. But, you be you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll be
you.
Me.
Be you.
I got you.
So, anyway, let's talk about McAuliffe, though. What a great sponsorship we have. We're very
100%.
blessed to be involved in that company.
Yes.
And we talk with them on a regular basis.
Yes.
And what's awesome is there are sponsors, and we talk to them on a regular basis, which would be no surprise. But how often do we see them visiting with their consumers and their ambassadors?
Every day.
All
day.
So,
long.
I mean, I like to say we're special, but when it comes right down to it, they're communicating with everyone that they can that is a consumer or an ambassador for McAuliffe.
Man, I've seen Dan messages hit people on Facebook at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. That's love, man. That's love for your constituents.
Absolutely, man.
That's love.
Yeah. And so I give hats off to the whole company, starting with Al, all the way down to whoever's planting the seeds.
Tell the truth.
You know what I mean?
Because it's all the same.
I like to say you get quality cigars, $4 to $42
all day long.
$4 to $42.
I just need them to be everywhere.
Right. And that's what we're working on as ambassadors.
I just need them to be everywhere.
And so if you're an ambassador or you've smoked McAuliffe and you enjoy them, you need to let your local shop know, hey, we want these in the shop.
Yes.
Because, I mean, $4 to $42. The shop, it's a win-win for the consumer and the shop.
Come on.
Because I'll tell you right now, I'm going to guess that McAuliffe is one of the heaviest smoked cigars at the Leaf.
At the Leaf. At the Leaf, yep.
You know, I remember when I first found out about them, I took the journey and smoked the entire Grande Bold line.
Yes, you did.
And it was awesome. It was a great experience. And I mean, so that's something that I would recommend to anyone who has that opportunity to smoke the whole Grande Bold line, because it is like a trip around the world.
Tell the truth.
You know what I mean?
A different taste, a different palate for every one of them.
And I'll tell you this too, that cigar shops want to know what you want in the shop.
Because it's a win for them.
Right.
It keeps you coming into the brick and mortar.
And I'll tell you this, I've seen the relationships between McAuliffe and the shop owners. They're good. Yeah. They're good.
They treat them just like they do their constituents.
Exactly.
They pay attention to them. They talk to them. They want to know what's going on, because that allows them to keep growing,
Right. So if you're at a shop that doesn't have McAuliffe, let your owner know, hey, man, we would really like to have the line. Yeah. And even if you just start out with the Grande Bold line, it's, you know, for me, I would say throw in the Medallia. Because yours is covered.
Yeah, in the Grande Bold.
Right. Yep. So, but I would say, you know, talk to your shop owner, let them know, hey, we want to at least try the line. Oh, yeah. And you're not going to be disappointed, because they're quality sticks at a value. They're value priced.
You hit it right with the Grande Bold. Try to get them to get the Medallia in there, and then the Torcedor, because that's your everyday smoke.
I also got to ask for the Connecticut.
Yeah, because you start.
That's my coffee. Yeah, I got to have my coffee stick. Yeah. And, you know, it's not just a regular Connecticut. But although I will say I found another Connecticut that I like. That's one of my top 3 this week.
Okay, we'll find out in a minute.
So, well, let's go ahead and get right into the top 3.
Go ahead with that one.
You've got your hog head.
Yes. Well, the Djamon.
Okay. Well, it looks like a hog.
Yeah,
something.
You didn't say that earlier.
It kind of looks like the tail of the hog. So anyway, also, just so everyone knows, we're recording this show tonight during the Cowboy game. That's how dedicated we are to bringing you this show.
That's how dedicated he is.
Because I'm like, I can only see part of the screen from where I'm sitting.
That is.
Is there a score?
Yeah, Minnesota 7 to Cowboys zip.
Oh, maybe I'm not doing it out of charity. Maybe I'm doing it because I don't want to witness a beatdown.
It's that no watch TV right now.
Right. Hey, so let me tell you, this 1776 we're drinking.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir. Smooth for 100 proof.
Yeah.
Woo. You know, when you talk about 100, I start thinking about that Everclear stage, which is way higher. But you like, okay, you smell it from around the room. You're like, yeah. This is not, man. This is real smooth.
Yeah, it's nice.
My second stick will be the La Aurora Corojo.
That's funny that you went with the La Aurora, because that's one of the ones I'm going with. Not that stick.
Oh, okay.
Not that stick.
Okay. Hey, that means I'm starting to think close to your
area.
I don't want to be there.
Well, I'll tell you, for my number 2, it's the La Aurora Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up with you in these Connecticut's now?
Man, I tell you what, it going from a Connecticut to, say, a Sumatra or a Maduro or an Ecuadorian sun-grown, it really helps you adjust your palate back and forth.
Okay, so I see what you're doing.
You see what I'm doing? I'm not just hitting one constant.
like you used to.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to always smoke Maduros. Yep. The stronger, the better. And now I really enjoy hitting all different aspects of cigars. So I'm not that guy that's like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that. I'm like, you know what? I want to try that, because it might be something that turns me on.
Yeah. And I am amazed with it, because especially with Connecticut, because you was just that Maduro man for so long.
I was anti-Connecticut. and I'll tell you one of the reasons why was because in the beginning, after I was already smoking super bold cigars, I smoked some Connecticut's that did 0 for me.
Because your palate was too far to the right.
Well, when you smoke, 50 hardcore Maduros, and then you smoke a Connecticut, you're like, well, that sucked.
Yeah, it's like being on the range and a 50 cal going off, and somebody come up with a 22. Pop. Right. What was that?
Right.
Who did that?
Speaking of that, I was at the gun range a while back, and I was shooting my AR-15.
Okay.
And I was sighting it in. Okay. So I was not like just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah,
I was taking my time. And a guy there, he was shooting his, the Desert Eagle 50.
Ooh.
Dude, and we were underneath a tin awning.
Oh, man.
Every time he shot that,
Everything vibrated.
dude, it scared the shit out of me.
Everything.
I would jump. I was like, dude, tell people you're about to shoot that thing. You know what I mean? I was like, you should have to say, hey, I'm about to start firing this bad boy up.
Just like when you're on the golf course. 4.
Exactly. I mean, here I am concentrating, and I'm being all serious and quiet, and I'm concentrating on the target, and all of a sudden, boom!
Here this cannon goes off.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, chill
my
out
goodness.
down there.
I saw a video, though. There is a new AR-15 that is a thumb trigger.
What?
Yes.
Dude, I've never heard of a thumb
I
trigger.
hadn't either. And I saw this guy, he calls himself the Black Rambo, and he had one, and he was out there firing it, and the trigger's actually on the back part of the pistol handle, and it's on top, and he put his thumb in there, and every time he did it, it was like, pow. It was like, pow, pow, pow. I was like, that thing is actually working.
I've never seen that.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I can see where you could do a rapid fire.
Yeah, with your thumb.
Even better,
With your
maybe.
thumb,
I mean, I don't know that. I'm just, with my thumb. So anyway, that's enough about the gun range. Where were we?
Who knows? Oh, you had just got through talking about your second stick. The
Okay,
Aurora.
yeah, the Aurora, Connecticut. Great
Yes, sir.
stick.
Yes, sir.
It was like a 50 by 5, and it was perfect for a good coffee in the morning. I enjoyed it, and so I'll definitely be looking for some more of those. And then, what was your number 2?
My number
That was
two
your Aurora. What?
Corojo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm a big fan of the Corojo leaf. Aganorsa leaf does a lot of those that I'm a big fan of.
It's growing on me. It really is growing on me, and I love that Aurora.
See, I'm impressed that you're broadening your horizons.
I didn't have an issue with trying anything new. I just wasn't going to stay hardcore Maduro.
Right. Granted.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what's your number 3 this week?
It was a Camacho Criollo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
Very medium.
I would think that's a very smooth, creamy stick.
And it was a morning stick when I had it because it was down there in Dallas. We were getting up from that last day of the everything, what they call it, the probate type gentleman introduction. And it was
Where'd you smoke that one at?
Outside the hotel.
Oh, okay. Hey, we've all been there.
Yeah, outside.
I mean,
the
it's
hotel.
like before I get my day started and I have to be at a meeting, man, I love to go outside with my coffee, sit down,
that's what I
and
did.
enjoy a stick before I really get rolling.
Because I got up and I said, I got to get myself together. I got to get on this highway to get back home. And I just sat out there and I smoked it. And I was like, this is a good stick, man. It helped me wake up with the coffee and everything. And it was just it was truly a blessing. It was truly a blessing. And I was like, I did not see this. I didn't.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm going to go with, and this is going to surprise you. I don't think you've ever had this stick. I had never had this stick.
Okay.
It is also a Camacho. That is
Man,
so freaking.
stop.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm going home because something's going to happen.
Hey, so this was the BG Myers, and I got to tell you, dude, it really surprised me.
Okay.
I got you one. I'm going to give you one.
You
so
really
can-
going to give me a
I'm
stick?
going to give you a stick so
Oh,
you can
God,
check
man.
it out.
It's getting ready to snow
I know,
in Texas. It's getting ready to snow in
Hey,
Texas.
that or Hellfire.
Oh, yeah. One or the other.
So anyway, dude, it was a really nice medium, maybe a little bit over medium. What?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. What is BG? Who is BG Meyer?
I have no idea.
You just love the stick.
I did. I was really surprised. I'll try to pull that up and look and
Okay.
see who BG Myers is. But
Camacho. Okay.
and that comes from the Davidoff factory.
Okay. Now that sounds good. That sounds good. What was the profile on it?
It was a medium to medium plus.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a Nicaraguan wrapper with a Honduras filler.
There we go with those different soils.
Something that I didn't know, it has a Brazilian Matafina binder.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of tobacco grown in Brazil. Yeah, to me, it is just so earthy.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, that would add a different aspect to that. That really would.
Yeah, it really does. And it has a little bit of sweetness to it.
Okay.
Not like something infused.
Okay.
Just, something on your lips. You're like, that's a little sweet. And then it goes to a little cocoa, and then it has a little bit of spice to it. But to me, it's more of a medium with maybe just a hint over medium.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's something that I would definitely smoke in the afternoon. Okay. Well, I say that. I smoked one in the evening with Ed drinking bourbon.
Drinking bourbon. Yeah, so I definitely want my stick now.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, you'll definitely get it. So those are our 3 cigars this week each. Hope you go out and try them. I definitely would say that they're worth a try.
Most definitely.
And they're really not that expensive in the value line.
Nope.
I think that Aurora, Connecticut was in the range of about $5.85.
That's right around
that BG Myers was like $7.
And the Carrillo was actually $4.
Yeah, and the Leanda, that was actually a gift to me, so it was an ultra value for me.
Me too.
So
when you leave them behind.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get a gift cigar, that's the best value of them all.
Yes.
So anyway, hey, coming up next, we've got Dirty Fabien. And if you don't know who Dirty Fabien is, you've been living under a rock. The guy
on Mars
was the national sales rep for Drew Estate.
Yes, sir.
He is, you know what? He's just a really upbeat, positive guy. I don't know what else to say about him.
Upbeat sells them short, man.
Yeah, it really does, because I would also say he's a little wacky. He's a little zany.
He is over the top.
He may be certifiable crazy, but I tell you what, I think he's made a good move. We all are big fans of some of the sticks that Drew Estate makes.
Yes, sir.
It might be something that you love. They definitely have some sticks in their wheelhouse that I enjoy, but I look forward to seeing what Fabien's going to do next. He's just an upstanding guy. He is definitely an ambassador for the entire community.
Yes,
He loves meeting people. He loves turning people onto cigars that's never tried cigars before. So you definitely don't want to miss out on the interview with Fabien.
It's coming up next.
Hey, well, before we get there, I wanted to just give an announcement out right quick. Let's go ahead and talk about Cigar Rights of America.
Yes, sir.
So there's a lot of things going on right now with the FDA. I don't know if you noticed, but a Texan is on the short list to be named the president of the FDA. So I don't know how that's going to affect us. I hope that's a good thing. I mean,
you see the smile on my face.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Because you hope that, the Texas guys got some common sense. So, I mean, I don't know. But that being said, if you're not a member of Cigar Rights for America,
I don't want to hear you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any complaining.
None.
You need to step up to the plate and sign up.
This is one of those opportunities you need to stand up and speak.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I know a lot of people know that this is my soapbox. This is my pet peeve. I've surprised a few of the guests by asking them if they're a member, and they weren't. And so we edited that out of the show after I berated them with insults. But anyway, that being said, next week we're going to have President Glenn Loop from Cigar Rights of America back on the show. There's been a lot of things going on. I wanted to get an update straight from the guy who knows what the hell's going on.
That's the information. That's the information download. That's what it is, because he knows it all. What they're trying to do, he's going to give us an understanding. And then after hearing this gentleman, if you still are not a member of Cigar Rights of America,
you shouldn't be smoking.
Real. I'm real with that.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't be smoking.
Nothing. Nothing.
So anyway, I'm real excited to have Glenn Loop back on the show to get all the relative information that's current.
Yes.
And we're going to try to have him on the show at least once every 6 months to give us an update what's going on.
That's good.
I reached out to him last week. He was real gracious. We're going to have him on the show next week. Okay. And then also next week, I've got a certified professional mixologist that makes mixed drinks, and he pairs them with cigars. And here's the cool thing is he will find a cigar that's like a top quality cigar, and then he smokes it, and then he will interpret it, and then he mixes a drink specifically
off his
for
interpretation.
That cigar. And I'm not real big on mixed drinks because
know.
I mean, you got to know what you're doing to make a mixed drink.
That's true.
Me and my wife were talking about when we were down in Mexico for our honeymoon, and it was like we were talking about the different drinks that I liked and that she liked, and we were looking up to see what was actually in them, and it was like, but when you're at the resort in Mexico, that's not what really is in them. It's like half pineapple juice, half tequila.
Yep.
So,
and a little bit of water.
Right. That's one of the reasons though that I don't drink mixed drinks is because I don't know how to make a mixed drink.
Okay.
So I'm excited to have this guy on the show. He actually does a recorded videos teaching mixology.
Oh, okay.
So we're excited to have him on the show. I plan on hopefully in December, we're actually going to do a live video and have him on the show and actually show us how to make some drinks.
Oh,
so
now that will be tight.
Yeah, that'll be something that we're going to try to come up with probably the second week of December.
Hey, it's amazing how far it's come.
Right?
It's amazing how far it's come, man.
And I'm not going to release the name, but I'm just going to say this. I'm working on a really big interview for our 1 year anniversary coming up, which is going to be December 16th this year. That'll be 1 year that we've been doing the show. And we're wanting to, in fact, we're probably going to have multiple guests because it's going to be a special show so we can celebrate the 1 year anniversary. And we're also going to be doing some special giveaways that week.
Yes.
So you're definitely going to want to tune in the week of December 16th.
Hey.
1 year anniversary.
If you miss it, don't be mad.
Right.
We're letting you know.
So anyway, guys, we've got Dirty Fabien up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello?
Hey, this is Rob from Cigar Talk, and I am looking for Dirty Fabien.
What's up, Rob? It's Fabien. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, dude. We appreciate you taking the time to join the show today.
Of course.
So let's jump right in, man. What are you going to do now?
Well, so here's the thing, right? So I worked for Drew Estate for 20 years, and I dove right in, and I never really took care of myself. So for the immediate future, I have a nice little vacation. I'm going to be going to Europe and just relaxing and spend some time with the family.
Nice, man.
I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm 46 years old. I'm not getting any younger, and just life on the road is a phenomenal one, but it's also a difficult one. And then it's getting harder to get healthier. So I've thought about it and working out and just getting in a healthier space, both mentally and physically, and rejuvenate the batteries, man.
Yeah, because you had a long ride. I mean, 20 years.
I've seen a few things, It's the rise and the rise of some companies, the decline of some companies, the rise of brands, and a lot of things happened in 20 years. And I'm very proud of the things that I did, and I helped Drew Estate climb to the top, and helped an Acid brand, a brand that was released in 1999 that wasn't supposed to last 6 months, make it to number one in 2018, and to my knowledge, it's still the number one brand in the U.S. So
yeah,
I'm proud of that.
That's the numbers that we see is Acid's number one across the United States.
No, I mean it's phenomenal. I mean, who knew? 18 years ago, 20 years ago, who knew? I mean, the cigar industry is very traditional, and to come out with a brand like Acid, very non-traditional. It's very opposite. It's like black and white. There's no shades of gray in there. Completely different. And for the U.S. market to understand it and enjoy it, and to keep smoking it is phenomenal.
Well, I mean, really, if you think about it, it was something that came about that you thought was going to be for 6 months, but it was really the missing piece of the pie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we already had the traditional, and so that market was taken care of. You guys introduced a cigar that was not on the market. So, I mean, that was the piece of the pie that there was that section that didn't have a cigar.
Yeah, acid pretty much created it and forced its way into this very traditional market. Back then, how long have you been in this industry?
Well, I've only been in the industry for about a year. I've been smoking
Okay.
cigars for about 10.
Okay, all right. So you kind of know this, but back then, there was traditional and then there's flavored cigars. And you had Tatiana was starting. You had Kojimar that was doing very very well. You even had some of the earlier CEO flavors that were doing well, and so that's that. You had flavored cigars, which if you wanted the chocolate or the mango or the vanilla or the cognac, that's what you went for. Or you had traditional cigars. Acid cigars came in and they started a third little segment of the industry. Started the infused market, and for some of you guys, some of your listeners probably don't necessarily know the difference between infused and flavored. Let me just say it. So first of all, no matter what flavored cigar you get, there's a problem because it's usually Dominican tobacco, which they use flavoring agents, whether they dip the leaf in or they spray the stuff on. The flavoring is in a sense on the leaf.
Gotcha.
And an infused cigar, we found a way of dehydrating the leaf and then rehydrating it with botanical and herbal oils, with coffee for tobacco especial, with spices from the world and ambrosia. So the flavors in a sense are in the tobacco. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is this: in a flavored cigar, the flavoring agent has a lower heat index than the tobacco, and what that means is as you're smoking your cigar and you're bringing in air through the cigar, that room temperature air gets heated up by the cherry of the lit cigar, and the hot air that follows through the cigar actually burns off all the flavoring off the leaf, off
Oh,
the top
really?
of the leaf. Yeah. So that's the reason why when you smoke a flavored cigar, halfway through your flavored cigar, you kind of lose all the flavor because all the flavor has been burnt off in a sense,
Oh, yeah,
And
very
this
interesting.
and the second half of the cigar, you just get a mild Dominican, cigar with not too much flavor. You may still get a little bit of sweetness, but there's no more vanilla, there's no more mango, there's no more of that flavor. Now, when you look at a infused cigar, since the flavoring aspects are in the leaf, the flavoring, gets burnt while the leaf is burning. So as you're smoking that acid cigar, yes, you're going to get some sweetness, and the infusion, you from the first puff to the last puff, you're going to get that same infusion flavor because it burns off while the tobacco burns.
Very
Now
interesting. Yeah.
here's something even more interesting, right? I'm sure there's a lot of your listeners are traditional cigar smokers. Would you agree with me?
Oh, probably 80%, I'm guessing.
But at the same time, I think that they might have a question, or they might want to try to figure out, hey, what's the big deal with these infused cigars? Why are they? Number one, what's the deal with it? So a very traditional cigar smoker who tries their very first infused cigar will react the exact same way every single time. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I just play one in the cigar industry when I was in there. And all my knowledge comes from the hours of talking to people in cigar stores, the 1,500 plus events I've done in my whole career, all over the world. All over the U.S., but also all over Europe. I spent 3.5 years for Drew Estate opening up new markets in Europe, and that was a lot of fun. So I ended up talking to a lot of people, and what it was is, I come from the aspect where I'm a sweet guy. I love sweet. So I never necessarily grew up into the very traditional market. I was always non-traditional. Now, probably in the last year and a half, I finally understood, I understand. I get the different variances of Nicaraguan and Cuban and Honduran and Dominican tobaccos, and I can enjoy that. And, I enjoy a nice mild to medium cigar. I try to stay away from the full body ones because they still knock me on my butt. But they're good. With that said, after a very nice steak dinner, a baked potato and a nice glass of wine, whatever, the best way to end that evening is was a nice full cigar. And you know, I mean, that's the one time where I don't get knocked down is, you know, I go to the all you can eat buffet and I eat way too much and I'm full.
Yeah, your belly's
to
full.
help digest, I smoke that full cigar. But I digress, right? So a traditional cigar smoker, let's say, grabs their very first acid cigar. Now the initial mistake is, oh well, the acid Cuba Cuba is the number one selling SKU, so let me try that. But that could actually do more damage than help, because the Cuba Cuba is the sweetest and the most aromatic cigar, right, in the portfolio. The analogy is, if you want to jump off a 10-story building, you better learn how to jump off the first story first, right? Because if you don't know how to land on your feet after the first, it's going to be a mess if you try to jump off the 10th story. So what I would always suggest is you go for a cigar like the Acid Toast, or even the cigar that Drew Estate released this year, which was the Acid 20. And then the Cuba Arte, you try one of those. So what's gonna happen is this: they're gonna cut the cigar, they're gonna light the cigar, they're gonna put it in their mouth, and then they're gonna have subconsciously they're gonna have alarms. They're gonna go, holy crap, this is a sweet cigar, and this is sweet, 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 sweet. And all they can focus on is the sweetness. What happens is, if you get into, you withstand the loud alarms in your head, you start smoking it, and then all of a sudden you're going to get a little bit of spice from that Nicaraguan flavor. You get that smoothness from if it's a toast or a Cuba Arte, you get that extreme smoothness from the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. You know, you get the extra little spice from the San Andreas Maduro wrapper. You get that, and all of a sudden, an inch and a half in, you're going to go, oh, the sweetness dissipated, the sweetness left. Well, the sweetness never leaves. What happens is your mind stops, your subconscious stops focusing on the sweetness, and then all of a sudden, just like a switch, the sweetness just becomes part of the cigar instead of working against the cigar. And then there you are. That's where you can sit down in your nice comfortable chair or whatever, and then you can actually truly enjoy what the aspect of that infused cigar. You're going to get that flavor. I mean, it's premium Nicaraguan tobacco that they use, right? I mean, it's not like a secondary or whatever. It's the same tobaccos that they use for other brands like Herrera Esteli, like Undercrown, and other powerhouses in the Drew Estate portfolio. So you get that flavor of the tobacco, but you still get a little bit of sweetness, and through your nose you get very aromatic, whether it's botanical or herbal oils. What I do is you talk to those people, and then you get like 4 or 5 of these very traditional cigar smokers to try one of those cigars, and let's say 2 or 3 out of those 5 will always go, man, you described it perfectly. I might go and I might pick up a few of these and enjoy these from time to time, and that's what it is. I mean, no one eats spaghetti and meatballs every day, right? I mean, you eat different things. So you have your 2 or 3 favorite cigars, but you know how to make your favorite cigar not so favorite anymore? By
smoke it every day. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, it's funny that you give us that scenario, because that's exactly how I would think it would happen for me, being that I smoke traditional 90% of the time. And when I say 90% of the time, when I say non-traditional, that doesn't mean infused. That usually means something that I just don't normally smoke, like a light Connecticut or something like that. And I'll tell you, you described the scenario, my first experience with an acid, which I'm going to be frankly with you, is I hated it. And here's the reason why. Exactly what you just said. I went from smoking a classic Partagas Black to a Cuba Cuba.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, what the hell is this?
Yep.
Now, I will say this too, though. Being that I was not a fan of the acid line because of what you just described, I've always been a supporter of the acid line, because I know a lot of people who smoke them, and I think that we should all support whatever anyone wants to smoke. And I've always said the thing about acid line is they use quality tobaccos, so it's a quality cigar. So for some people, that's their springboard. that's where they get started. And so I think it's definitely of value to the cigar market.
Yeah, I mean, in this crazy world with the FDA, and the last couple of years, the FDA making things very tough for the cigar industry. For other manufacturers to look down upon acid is insane, because acid cigars are the the springboard into creating more cigar smokers. In the last 20 years, the best thing about acid is it's created so many new cigar smokers.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't until Drew Estate started doing traditional cigars that, we got momentum, and Drew Estate had momentum, because here's the thing, right? So you come in 1999, 1999 to about 2007. And that was when Drew Estate had acid, and then, they launched the natural line, which is called Laratan, which, by the way, in 2020 will be the 20 years of the natural line. So
Wow.
Hopefully they do something about that. But yeah, so you had those two cigars, and I was out there with some of the other reps, and we were doing events, and we were creating, buzz, and our market were these new cigar smokers. Now, the problem is most likely someone is going to smoke an acid cigar or a natural cigar, and then it has progression, right? So it could take a guy a week, it could take a guy 6 months or a year, but eventually, if they enjoy smoking cigars, they'll want to know what tobacco tastes like, and they'll start their evolution into mild and medium and strong, and who knows, and then they'll find their way. And Drew Estate didn't have a traditional cigar. So it wasn't until 2007 where this phenomenal company, Hoya de Nicaragua, which started the whole, the whole Nicaraguan industry in 1968. If there's all your listeners out there, if they enjoy Nicaraguan cigars, they need to go back to Hoya de Nicaragua and try one of those Hoya Nicaraguas and add one of those, because you can't get more Nicaraguan than Hoya de Nicaragua. I mean, we all us Nicaraguan lovers owe something to Hoya, because they started it, right? So now, as a cigar rep back in 2008 and 9, you have these guys that, they'll come in, they'll buy their acids, but then you also those guys that you build rapport with, and you've become friends with, and they're traditional cigar smokers, and now you have traditional cigars to show them. So that's the point where the growth for Drew Estate really went. The incline was big, because now all those people who believed in the quality of cigars that were made by Drew Estate, and I mean, they're second to none. I mean, they're phenomenal. They're phenomenally made, and I've been to the factory a whole bunch of times. I used to do cigar safaris, bring people down there, and I see like every single cigar goes through so many aspects of quality control.
Yeah, I was going to say,
whatnot.
Drew Estate's quality control is second to none.
Yeah.
It's the quality of the product is amazing, and I've smoked some of the traditional lines of Drew Estate as well, and I've never had a bad cigar as far as quality control.
Yeah, I mean, they're very far and few. I'm not going to say never, because it's a cigar is still man-made.
Sure.
And we all have good days, we all have bad days, and hopefully we have more good days than bad days. But there's a few cigars that are made when the roller is just broke up with his wife, or who knows, whatever happens. But I mean, the fact that on an average day, I believe they make about 150,000 cigars a day, and
Wow.
It's all handmade. I mean, for the fact that you may, if you imagine, the 1%. 1% is still a large amount, but luckily that 1%, very few of those actually ever make it out of the factory, right?
Right.
So all those cigars are phenomenal. And one other thing is in the belief of Drew Estate is, once someone goes into a cigar store and sees a Drew Estate cigar on the shelf, those are ready to smoke. You can buy them, you can smoke them. There's some other companies that are out there that will hope that their cigars age in humidors, because it's very cash strapped, right? I mean, you have to buy tobacco this year and wait 2, 3, 4 years before you use it, and some companies get in trouble when they don't have the financial backings. So they're making all these cigars and they're selling all these cigars, and a few cigars once in a while aren't necessarily have the proper age or whatever, and it doesn't mean that it's a bad cigar. It just means that cigar needs to age a little more.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I've definitely had some of those.
yeah, as a cigar smoker, if you're in a cigar store and you want to buy a cigar, you want to enjoy that time right now, right? I mean, you're not necessarily buying. Not too many people go into stores on an everyday basis buying cigars that they'll smoke a year from now, right?
Right.
So, so the quality is phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The Drew Estate portfolio is wide. They have a whole bunch. I mean, from anything from mild and sweet to very strong, with some of the Hoya, like Antaño and Dark Rojos, even some of the Liga Privadas, like the Feral Flying Pig and the UF13. Those are very powerful cigars and very flavorful cigars, So,
well, I'll tell
there's
you,
a whole bunch of cigars out there.
It's an odd pick for me, but my favorite Drew Estate is actually the Kentucky Fire Cured Flying Pig. And here's the thing about that smoke. Like, I can't smoke one of those on a daily basis, but if I'm hanging out at the lounge on an evening having some bourbon or scotch, and I've had say 3 or 4 cigars in a row and my palate is absolutely shot, I'd love to go in there and get a Kentucky Fire Cured, because it's almost like a rebirth. I mean, completely. And it's like I can enjoy the flavors of that cigar because even though my palate's shot, it has such a unique, distinct flavor profile that I can enjoy that.
Well, yeah, that's a non-traditional cigar right there. So, the fact that one of your favorite cigars is your favorite cigar from Drew Estate is non-traditional. I mean, there you go.
There you go. Let me ask you this. I don't understand, how is the Kentucky Fire Cured made? Without giving trade secrets away, of course.
So here's the thing, right? So conceptually, the Kentucky Fire Cured cigar is made just like any other cigar. The only difference is some of the tobaccos that they use is fire cured tobacco. There's a couple different ways of curing tobacco. It's air cured, which that is most tobaccos, like I'd say 80% of tobaccos used, maybe even 90% tobacco used, is air cured. So the leaves are taken off the stalk, or the stalk is cut, and then it's aged in these barns, and the barns are sealed, and then there's airflow in there, and then that's how the process of the leaves go. They turn from green to brown. Well, fire curing is what happens is the tobacco is still put into those barns, but instead of letting the air dry, what they do is they create a whole bunch of fires on the ground, and then they smoke. They put like little pieces of wood, kind of like a smoker. So so each person that smokes tobacco, that fire cures tobacco, they have their own recipe of wood chips. So they have like some cherry wood, some hickory wood, some pine wood, like whatever their recipe is. They throw those little chips on the fire, and it creates a lot of smoke, and then they close the barn. And I mean, if you're I'm 6'3", right, and I'm extending my arm out, it's probably 2 feet in front of my face. If I were to stand in that barn, I couldn't see my hand.
No kidding.
The smoke is so thick, and for an amount of time, that smoke is what turns that leaf from green to brown, and as it cures, it adds that smokiness to the leaf. So in the fire cured tobacco, in the Kentucky Fire Cured cigar, there's some of that fire cured tobacco used in the filler, and then there's also a piece that is put on like a second cap, as the Nicaraguans would say, dos capos.
Okay.
So if you next time you grab a Kentucky Fire Cured cigar, take off the band, and if you take off the band, you'll actually see where the fire cured cap ends, and the rest of the cigar is.
Oh, okay.
The best way to the best way to see it is if you look at a Swamp Thing or Swamp Rat, which is a fire cured with a candela wrapper. That candela wrapper is put on the whole cigar, and then just on the tip is an additional fire cured piece. But when you cut the end of the cigar to smoke it, you can actually see the candela wrapper is all the way. So it's just an added bonus, and what that does is it gives you that smoky, that woodsy, that peaty smoke on your lips that mixes with your saliva as you're smoking.
Very interesting. Well, I tell you what, I love it because it's definitely a nice change up whenever you've been smoking several other medium to heavy cigars.
Yep.
So let's move forward. I mean, you've been with Drew Estate for 20 years. You know all the ins and outs of the business. You're no longer with Drew Estate. Is your phone blowing up?
My phone has been blown up. You know, I mean, both. It's crazy, right? So being in the industry for 20 years, like 20 years ago, if you would have told me I would have been in there for 20 years, I would have been, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Because I had smoked 3 cigars before I got in this industry.
So let me ask you this: what did you do prior to Drew Estate?
So prior to that, I lived in Southern California. I worked at Disneyland, and I was undercover security and also guest control at Disneyland for 10 years. And I did that, and you know, so I was at Disneyland for 10 years and Drew Estate for 20, and then who knows what's going to happen later on. But yeah, you know, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, my phone's been going off from other manufacturers that have called me. Yes. More rewarding is all the cigar store owners that I've met and that have called and sent me amazing messages. All the end consumers that I've met for all over the world have sent me messages through, you know, whether they have my phone number and you know, because I gave them one of my business cards, the personal messages, or they follow me on Instagram or Facebook. I mean, I gotten hundreds of messages, and I mean, it's you know, every day I go through and I answer a few of them, this and that, whatever. I'm going to end up going through all of them and thanking everyone, this and that, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's so, I don't know. I just got a big smile because, you know, my hard work for 20 years, you're just so focused on the future, and you're so focused on what the next thing is. Sometimes you don't stop and realize what you've created and what you've helped create. And this moment in time actually helped me find out exactly what I've helped create, because I've gotten so many messages like from guys going, man, I remember my very first cigar. You're the one who turned me on to acid, or you spoke to my dad and you got us both smoking Underground, or this and that. It's like these awesome stories and these memories that you know, I hate to say that I've taken for granted. For all these times, because to me it was just another guy, you know, I was just selling cigars, that's not whatever, but to those other people, you know, I was
creating memories.
You know, yeah, I created memories and instances, and that's the thing is you take things for granted, right?
Well, I was going to say in your case, because I follow you on Instagram, and the thing about it is, I wouldn't necessarily say that you take for granted. I would look at it as you're so busy, always looking for what you're doing next, because your schedule, I can tell, was crazy. And so now you're actually able to take time and reflect.
Yes. Yeah. Reflecting is phenomenal.
Yeah, because you didn't have time before to reflect.
No, because I was, you know, 1 week ended and then the next week was in front of me, and I was just, okay, where am I going this week? Okay, what's going on? What do we need? You know, this and that. So yeah, I mean, that's actually the perfect way of saying it is now that I have some time, so I can reflect.
So,
you know,
are you married with kids?
I actually am very lucky. I found 5.5 years ago, since I live in Miami, I found this very understanding Colombian woman, which in all practical purposes is like a oxymoron, because everyone tells me that doesn't happen. First, women are understanding, and then second, Colombian understanding, and to find an understanding Colombian woman, you know. So I got really lucky.
You won the lottery.
I did win the lottery. She's phenomenal. Props to you, Catherine. Hopefully, you know, you're going to listen and all this stuff. You know, I mean, now I have more time to spend with you, and she was actually one of the happiest people. You know, she supports me with my decisions and all that stuff, and it is what it is. But you know, 5.5 years ago, it was crazy because I had a better chance of meeting someone in Tulsa or in Minot or, you know, in San Francisco than I did in Miami, because I'd spend 25 days a month on the road.
Wow.
So, the 5 days or the 8 days that I was in Miami, I wasn't going out trolling the bars or going, going somewhere. I was just relaxing at home, and you know, you're not meeting anyone, just relaxing at home. So,
right.
So I had a better chance finding, meeting someone in a cigar store, in a restaurant, like out on the road, which that wouldn't have worked either. Cause I mean, it's not like I go to Tulsa all the time.
You're
or
here
I go
today,
to,
gone
Oklahoma.
tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember having my very first conversation with her, and the way my schedule was set up, it was always set up like 6 months in advance. So here we are, we're on our first date, it's like January 8th, and she's like, all right, so, what are your plans, this and that, whatever. And I'm like, I gotta stop everything. I gotta tell you that my next 6 months are crazy busy because they were scheduled in September.
Right.
And I can't change anything. So don't think that I'm trying to hide from you, or I live a second life, or I have someone in somewhere else. Here's a copy of my schedule. Do you understand what I'm saying? But what I told her was, what I can guarantee her is that every year I would travel less and less and spend more time with her. 5 years ago, I was on the road 25 days a month. Then the following year, I was on the road 20 days a month. Whereas last year and this year, I was on the road 12 to 15 days a month.
Nice.
And yeah. So I had some sort of home life a little bit. Now, I will say that, there were a couple arguments because when I had some time off, she'd want to go somewhere. And because I always went everywhere, what I wanted to do for my couple days off, I wanted to stay home. Right. So,
right.
Yeah. So there are a couple arguments there, but now I got plenty of time and we're going to go places. So, it's, it was worth the fight. She's worth it. And, everything's good right now.
Now, I know after 20 years, you're going to take some time and reflect, as we've talked about earlier, but now you're going to travel and enjoy some downtime with your Colombian woman. And so have you thought about what you're going to do next? Are you looking at staying in the tobacco industry? Or are you looking at doing a 180 and doing something completely different?
Well, my options are wide open. I mean, there's quite a few cigar manufacturers I've reached out, and I'm going to take my time, but along with that is there's quite a few people that I've met over the years in cigar stores that have reached out and said, hey, you were a great sales guy and you were knowledgeable. I enjoy our conversations. I'd love for you to come out and talk. And we are looking for a very passionate person and think about us. There's a few other industries that I'm looking at, and I have the possibility due to just meeting people while smoking cigars. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, if you really think about it, the best way to make connections are in cigar stores, because most of the time people in cigar stores are fairly well off. They're enjoying their time and they like to talk, and you never know who you're sitting next to and whatnot. So, just because you're not necessarily smoking the same cigar, you guys are, we're both sitting around lighting up dried up leaves.
Right.
I mean, essentially that's what we're doing, right? I mean, dried up leaves, we light them up and then we just tell stories.
Right.
And that's how you build relationships. Now, I will say this, right? In the last 20 years, I've done the same thing, and I try not to these days, but 20 years ago, there's a lot more conversations going on in cigar stores. People were talking, this and that, whatever. And as the years go by, and as social media and phones get more sophisticated and this and that, whatever, like I'd walk into a store like earlier on this year or even last year, and there'd be like 10, 15, 20 people, but you couldn't hear a single thing because they'd all be on their phones.
Right. It was silent.
It's silent, or you hear the TV in the distance or whatever. But it's kind of weird. People are answering emails or this and that, making plans with their mistresses later on, whatever. They're doing whatever they're doing. But I think that's one of the big things that cigars is a conversation starter. And that's one of the things where a lot of people are going away from it. I challenge everyone out there to, when they're in the cigar store, put their phone down and start a conversation with whoever's smoking a cigar next to you and whatnot. And you'll never know.
Well, and I'll tell you this, whenever I sit down with a cigar, if I've got my phone in my hand, I'm not completely enjoying my cigar as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you're on your phone, your mind is not on it. And so you're missing out on the conversations with those people that you came to hang out with.
Exactly. And talk about getting to know people. We actually had a listener of our show tell us that he was going to come into town because his brother happened to be stationed here in the military, and he wanted to come hang out with us and smoke cigars. And he's from California. We're in Texas. So he comes down, and within
30 minutes, he's met someone who's offering him a job. He's moved here now, from California to Texas, and he's thriving. But that all came from being in that cigar community.
That's awesome.
I say, don't miss out on the opportunities that are around you at the Cigar Lounge, because you just never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah, of course.
So,
of course.
What part of Europe are you going to?
So originally I was born in Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
So when I was 9 years old, we moved to the States and whatnot. And I lived in Connecticut for 4 years and California for 23 years and then moved in Miami in 2011. But so first, my parents are in Switzerland. So I'm going to fly out to Switzerland and spend a little bit of time with them. And then I might meet up with some friends who are spending New Year's Eve in Paris. I have an aunt who lives there, so I go see her and go hang out with some friends over there. And then something I've always wanted to do and I've never done. I don't know if I'm going to do it on this go around, but I'm definitely going to do it before I die. Is go check out the Northern Lights. I think that's one of the coolest things, and I've seen so many pictures and read so many articles on it that it's just breathtaking. And I just I just want to go over there, whether it's in Norway or Finland or Sweden or wherever. Find a place, just complete quietness, and just look up and just listen, because it's supposedly it makes sounds. Just listen to the lights and look at the lights, man. I mean, it's mesmerizing to me. It's amazing.
I did not know it made sounds, but I've seen some different things about that, and it does sound amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be cold, but you know what? A little bit of liquor will help us warm up, and just checking it out, and that's one of the things that intrigues me so much, and whatnot. So.
Well, hey, all your fans hope that you will post on social media while you're over there.
Well, I will. I've been off social media for about 2 weeks. And I gotta tell you, for someone who used to post on a regular basis, and not necessarily that I cared how many likes I had or whatever, but I always looked at how many likes I had and comments and try to answer a lot of the comments and whatnot. To not to be chained to that for a little bit. I mean, it's so
nice,
free,
huh?
and I mean, it's been really nice, and it's probably a couple weeks before I start posting, or all the times that I posted, there was a purpose why I posted. It's something that I was doing or something cool or whatnot. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been relaxing at home and working out. And, I mean, people, I don't necessarily want people to know what the inside of my house is, because they'll see how dirty I am, not necessarily, because my girlfriend takes really good care of the house and all that stuff. But and the last thing they want is to take a picture of me with my 25-pound dumbbells, because they go, oh, that's a big guy who's kind of weak, so there really hasn't been too much to post about. But when I start traveling and whatnot, and there's going to be some exciting things going on, I'm going to start posting again and whatnot. So yeah.
Well, while you're over there, do you plan on doing any base jumping?
No.
Because we were talking about you on the show last night, and we were saying that from your videos, we think you're crazy, and that would be something that we would see you doing is base jumping.
Well, here's the problem, right? So I am crazy, first of all. Yeah, I'm insane. But the problem is on a yearly basis, I was on anywhere between, on average, 150 flights.
Wow.
And the last thing that I want is to go on a flight and then jump off, because to me, it's like a bad thing. Like, the next time I go on a plane is I'll have to jump off, and I have no parachute because the plane's going down. So I mean, there's a better chance of me doing bungee cord jumping off a bridge than there is me jumping off a plane.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, hey, we want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us. But before we go, we got to ask you one question.
Go for it.
Where did the name Dirty Fabien come from? You didn't think we were going to let you get out of here without answering that.
Well, so here's the thing, right? When Instagram first started, Jonathan Drew, at one of our annual sales meetings, said, "Okay, if you work for Drew State, we need you to have an Instagram account, and we need you to start posting and doing marketing, this and that, whatever." This when Drew State was very small. We didn't have a marketing department. I mean, now they have a marketing department. There's 8-10 guys that are doing a great job. But before, the sales guys were doing the marketing at the same time. So me that I'm very technological unsavvy or whatnot. It was hard for me to download the app on the phone, So at the time we had a guy named Johnny Brook, who was he was the first guy who was in charge of our social media. And he helped me download the app on my phone. And then he goes, well, so what do you want to call yourself? And I didn't necessarily want to be, Drew Estate Fabien, or I didn't want to be Fabien Ziegler, just, whatever, because I wanted to be something different. Well, I smoked a lot of naturals back then. I love the natural line, which, now is Laratan. So I'm like, I want to be Mr. Natural. So Johnny Brook looks up and he goes, nope, you can't be Mr. Natural. I'm like, why? That's BS. I want to be this. So he goes, well, Mr. Natural is this guy. And here you go. He shows me pictures of this like guy who's, obviously not natural. He's a steroid freak, like a guy who works out 8 hours a day and takes metabolic steroids and whatever, because he did not look natural. I mean, he had big muscles, but he did not look natural. And one of the things that my dad always used to tell me when I was a little kid is, you never want to be second. You always want to strive to be number one. So being Mr. Natural number 2 was out of the question, right? So Johnny goes, well, you smoke a lot of dirts, natural dirts, because one of the sizes, it's a 4x44 size called the natural dirt. It's like, you smoke a lot of dirts. Why don't you just call yourself Dirty Fabien? And that's how Dirty Fabien started.
And that stuck.
Yes, it stuck. Dirty Fabien started that way. Now, that was in 2008 or 7 or 8 or whatever, that, right around then. And there was a lot of other stories afterwards when I became Dirty Fabien, traveling and this and that, whatever, which I think this is like a PG-13, like it's not NC-17. So those stories are going to have to stay with me.
I understand.
But there's some other stories. Now, a couple of years ago, I actually changed my name on Instagram to Smoke What Fabien Smokes, because two things. Because my girlfriend asked me to. She's like, I cannot be dating a guy that's called Dirty Fabien, because you're a clean guy. You can't be Dirty Fabien. My Colombian friends won't understand that, this and that. So okay, all right. So I changed to Smoke What Fabien Smokes, because Smoke What Fabien Smokes was actually one of the segments in the podcast that I used to do when I was with Drew Estate, called DE for Live. And that was one of the segments that we did. So I changed my name to Smoke What Fabien Smokes, and that's what my thing is on Instagram now. But yeah, that's the story. That's how Dirty Fabien got created.
Hey, well, that's a great story, man. And I'll tell you what, with all the cigar companies out there, I'm going to say that Drew Estate is one of the best social media cigar companies out there. They really have that reach, and they're really committed to it. And I see a lot of cigar companies that aren't, and I think they're really missing the boat. But you guys were really all over social media.
That's one of the big things that the head honchos at Drew Estate, they thrive for. And I mean, it started with Jonathan Drew. I mean, he used to spend hours answering people on Instagram and on Facebook and all that stuff, and posting and all that. So it was always very important to him. And things trickle down from the top, and things that are important to the top then are important to the bottom. And yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job. Joe Gro's doing a good job with the social media aspects, and I mean, they're working on a new app, a new Drew Diplomat app, and updating that and whatnot, a new website. So there's some good things coming in the future in 2020 with Drew Estate social media. So
well, that's awesome, man. Well, it sounds like you had a great career, a great run.
Yeah.
And I like to hear somebody who has had that run and then they depart to do something new for themselves, but at the same time, it's not bitter. It's, hey man, it was a great run. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I never would have thought that I'd be in the cigar industry for 20 years. Like I said earlier, my biggest reward is meeting all these people and talking to all these people that, and just do hundreds, if not thousands of little mini snapshot of memories and whatnot. I mean, one of the things I thrived for was, every manufacturer is doing events, right? And yeah, you can buy the 4 cigars, you get one free. You buy a box, you get a whole bunch of stuff, this and that, whatever. But I was never into doing an event. What I wanted was an experience, because I was really into creating experiences. Because in my mind, if I create an experience and someone who comes into one of my events and has a good time and smokes one of the Drew Estate cigars, 2 weeks down the road, he'll want to have another good experience, and he'll recollect, oh, I smoked that cigar, so I want to go get more of those cigars to have a good time.
Well, see, I agree with you so much on that. And,
yeah.
I know that's the general way that we do events is you buy 4, get 1 free. And I absolutely hate that venue. I think people want to have great experiences. And even before your time, back in the 80s and 90s, when people had events, it was the experience, not the buy 4, get 1 free.
Yep.
And so I'm every time I hear someone doing an event that is like something special, I'm like, I got to go to that. If you're having an event, buy 4, get 1 free, I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that 100 times.
Yeah. There's plenty of manufacturers that are making great cigars, and they're offering 4-in-1. The only time I'd go buy 4-in-1 is my humidor is empty.
Right.
I can have my own fun out there. I like I said, like you said, is I want to go out there and I want to be wowed, and sometimes you go out there and it has nothing to do with the actual cigar. The cigar, you're smoking that cigar, but it's something completely different, whether it's pairing stuff with liquor or pairing stuff with coffee or pairing things with nuts or chocolate or sometimes like there's even cigar stores that do like movie nights. So they'll play a classical, nice, phenomenal movie, and people show up and they smoke a cigar, and that's sponsored by a manufacturer. I mean, I love that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so cool. It's something completely different.
Yeah, we've got friends over there in the Richardson area, which is part of Dallas, and they do phenomenal events. I mean, one time they had a suit tailor come in and talk about how you want to, when you go buy a suit, what to look for, what to ask for. They had a watchmaker come in and, talk about watches. So it's not just, hey, we're going to buy 4, get 1 free. It's actually something that's going to be something you'll remember probably the rest of your life.
Well, to end on that, I did 11 tattoo events.
Wow.
So I was in a cigar store, and if you bought a box of Drew Estate cigars, we would pay for you to get a Drew Estate tattoo. So we had like 4 or 5 logos.
Wow.
And whatever your favorite logo was, we would pay for it for you to get tattooed.
Well, hey, man, we just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and we wish you much success. I know from what you've done in the past, you're definitely going to be successful in the future, but we just really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and, man, we can't wait to see what you do next.
Hey, the pleasure was all mine. It's phenomenal. Spreading the word of smoking cigars. That's what more people need to do, is smoking cigars and enjoy life, and not necessarily always focus on the future, but enjoy the present. So my pleasure's all mine, and I hope to see all you smoking fools out there, but I say that in a great way.
Absolutely.
Out on the road. So much love for you guys, and anytime, buddy, anytime.
All right, man. Well, have a great trip, and hopefully we'll talk to you when you get back.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds
thanks,
good.
Fabien. We'll see you, bud. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that interview with Fabien. It was a pleasure speaking with him, and we just wish him much success. I know he's going to be great at whatever he does. He's just that kind of guy. A lot of charisma, just a good people person, and what he did for Drew Estate is just amazing. So there'll be no shortage of calls wanting him to come to work for them next.
That's true.
Anyway, guys, we wanted to give a shout out to Cigars for Warriors. We love supporting those guys, and you can find a link on every episode just down below, a link that'll take you to Cigars for Warriors. And one of the things that impresses me so much about the organization is not just that they help servicemen and women around the world, that they take literally
nothing.
Zero.
Yeah. It's all volunteer. Yeah.
It's all volunteer.
Yep.
Every dime goes into the program.
That's correct.
To take care of our servicemen and women around the world.
That's correct.
And, being that cigars is what they've said that the number one requested thing they get is cigars.
Yeah.
They also get requests for magazines, gaming consoles, video games, but the biggest thing is cigars.
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing they send. They send whatever is requested.
That's correct.
And so to have an organization like that is 100% volunteers is just really impressive.
It's downtime that we enjoy so overseas, especially in combat areas where you get a chance to just sit back and, let your mind get away from what's actually going on around you, and then to know the people at home still care enough about you to send a stick, what you're asking for, and it allows you to, man, it's heaven. It's heaven and hell.
Oh,
it's
absolutely,
hell.
man.
That's what it is.
So, and then next, I posted on Instagram this week that we're giving away a Visol lighter.
Yes, sir.
And it's a really nice. Did you see the pictures?
Yes, I did.
Really nice. We have that on the Instagram. You can see it on Cigar Talk Radio's Instagram account. And anyway, the winner for that, let's do the drawing right quick.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, we have this really nice lighter that I acquired, and it's brand new in the box. Don't start laughing.
Okay.
I didn't win it in a poker game. But anyway, we're going to have a drawing, and let me hit the magic button here on the computer and see who our lucky winner is this week. And the winner is Doug Worthington. So congratulations, Doug. We'll make sure we get that lighter out to you this week.
Yes,
and
sir.
Congratulations. You can always get a great giveaway on Cigar Talk. I like to play with those toys here and there.
You are a kid in the candy store, man.
So anyway, also, I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after. We also have, and are you familiar with Remarkable Liz on Instagram?
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Yeah, Remarkable Liz. She
Yeah.
actually was on the podcast called what was that? The Lounge Experience. And I don't know what happened. Anyway, that didn't work out, and
Okay.
she's not on that.
Okay.
But anyway, she is a big influencer on Instagram with cigars. We're planning on having her on the show as well. I don't know if that'll be next week or the week after.
Okay.
But we've got a lot of interviews lined up for you guys.
Yes.
Someone else that I'm talking to that's really interested in coming on the show is the editor of Half Wheel.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes.
So we're really stepping it up, trying to bring you guys the best entertainment, best interviews
Content, yes.
for cigar smokers.
Yes.
And whether it be coffee, whether it be bourbon, whether it be scotch, or just great cigars, we're trying to find the best content to put together for you guys.
It's all about that education.
That's
It
right.
is.
And I'm still looking. And so anyone who's listening to this, if you know a master roaster of coffee that smokes cigars, I want to have them on the show.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
if you know someone in that caliber, shoot me an email, let me know, because that's somebody that I want to have on the show. And, because I'm a coffee fiend.
True.
And I mean,
True.
It probably comes right in second behind cigars. And really, they go so well together. I never drink coffee when I'm not smoking a cigar.
I think it's more coffee because, dude, you had an industrial coffee maker in this shit, man.
Well, and the thing about it is, though, is I never drink coffee without cigars.
Oh.
So if I don't have a cigar, I don't drink
have
coffee.
Okay,
unless
so then
unless it's like a frappuccino or something, and that's not coffee in my book. That's just dessert. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So hey, and I'll tell you a funny story about bourbon.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we had a guy come in the lounge the other day, and we were all smoking cigars, and he had a bottle of bourbon, and I was like, dude, you got to fire up a good cigar with that. And he was like, I don't smoke cigars. One, I'm thinking, why in the hell are you in a cigar shop?
Yeah.
But anyway, people come in there just to hang out and relax and smoke.
Some people like the aroma.
Yeah, the aroma, and also the company is fantastic when I'm there. Anyway.
Oh, because you're there. I caught that.
So anyway, he says he doesn't smoke cigars. And I'm like, but that is good bourbon. You got to pair it with a cigar.
Okay.
And he says, seriously, I don't smoke cigars. And Ed says,
uh-oh, what did Ed say?
I don't do cocaine either, but if you sprinkle some on a hooker's ass.
Oh my God.
So anyway,
Oh my God.
Ed is always spouting out funny stuff that makes me just roll over. And so when he said that, I busted out laughing. Anyway, Hey guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. Hope you enjoyed it, and we got some great guests planned for the next few weeks, so hope you keep tuning in, and make sure you go by their website. When we have our giveaways, that's how we randomly select.
Yes, sir.
Is we go to MailChimp, and then we have another app that selects all the emails throughout that app, and it magically comes up with a winner. Yeah. And so all you have to do to register, tell them. You go by the website.
And just register. All you got to do is give your name and your email address, and it's done.
Right. We're not asking for your mailing address, any of that stuff. So that's all you got to do. We don't send out, man, I get so tired
of those ads. And
dude,
those.
It's like, you know what? When I sign up, I don't mind getting like a weekly email,
but
dude,
every day,
dude, I
some
get
2 and 3 times a day. Yeah, man, that's too much, man.
Dude. You know what? That makes me just delete. In fact, I don't even delete them. I have this huge folder
of junk.
Yes.
They're on the same level as those warranty people with me.
Oh, dude. The car warranty and the life insurance or the health insurance. Dude, and they trick me by all the different area codes they use. It pisses me off. So anyway, hey guys, that's the show this week. I hope you enjoyed it. We're fixing to kick back, and it looks like we're going to watch the Cowboys get beat, but maybe not.
It's 14-7 now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, I haven't been able to see the TV, so I didn't know. Anyway, we're going to watch the Cowboy games. Hope you guys have a great week, and until next time,
keep smoking.